Yeah, so as far as customer, it's definitely very easy on their end, and even the staff. The majority of the training has been on how to, what the product is, but the use of the device, the instructions for using the device it's extremely easy, and the customer finds it really interesting when they see that on the table. So even out of curiosity, they just go ahead and open it and see what it is. And it's very easy to go in and enter the check number. And, that's all the server has to do is just enter the check number, and the rest it just flows and guides the customer through the process. So I think it's just a very cool experience for them to be able to provide feedback that way, versus a traditional way that they're used to, which is usually, here's our email account and just send us an email. But this way, it's a more proactive approach where we're asking them, what do you think about this specific thing? We're getting to the information that we want to get out of them, which they might not think is important to mention on an email, but it is very valuable to us.
We were able to review the key steps of service, whether it's servers mentioning our handcrafted draft beer at initial approach and recommending a sale of a beer, all the way down to suggesting that the guest purchase a 4-pack to take home so they can continue their experience once they left the building. And one of the surprise aspects was we discovered that when a guest was reminded or suggested to purchase a 4-pack to go, the tendency of the guest was to give us an even higher net promoter score on their experience, because it was an added service that they perhaps hadn't thought of or weren't aware of. So we found that there are several key elements of our steps of service that elevate the guest experience enough to have them give us a higher response when asked about the net promoter score questions. So we use that to educate our staff as to the importance, not to diminish the other steps of service and things that we were trying to confirm, but to elevate their awareness that a high net promoter score translates into more word of mouth, more people recommending to their friends and family to come to the restaurant, more business for them. And that simple step would dramatically change the power of that voice. So we look at that, and we started coaching a little bit differently to make sure that everybody understood the importance of it and everybody understood their role in continuing to drive sales by asking the right questions or mentioning the right elements to our of the program to our guests. So really helpful and insightful ways for us to continue to elevate the guest experience. My simple explanation is that I've not come across a better system of gaining actionable guest feedback in the moment, where I can literally, after a busy lunch, go in and see if there were any negative comments or things that needed to be corrected about an item because there were 2 or 3 or 4 mentions about the same item. And the fact that it has visibility to all levels of the organization, from the C-suite through the leadership team all the way down to the restaurant level. And we can look at it from a global perspective and look at the entirety, how the menu's performing over the population of 20 locations. But the restaurant managers can focus in on what's happening within their 4 walls. And we know that the stronger the management team, the stronger the performance. So they have a tool now that enables them to very specifically drill down on what they can do within the 4 walls to improve the guest experience. And I've not come across any system that gave me that much information, through one method. So that's my belief around the value and what I think it does for us. The one thing that I wish we had done, or we had this a year ago, because we just underwent a menu change and we did it the old-fashioned way. We did it based on our perception and the limited feedback that we had and sales mix and limited customer comments. And the next time we do a menu change, we're going to have the support of all of this data that's really going to tell us whether or not there's high levels of guest satisfaction coming from the items that we have on the menu, and what we need to do menu engineering wise in order to potentially re-engineer or replace menu items on the offer.